welcome to another episode with myself, Kia. I'm your host, Garawizumatsing, and welcome to Life After Bells. And today I am joined by my gorgeous friend, Onkabetse. She's an author. Excuse me. Oh, this flu. Sorry about that. She's an author and a
chartered accountant.
Yes! This is my gorgeous friend, Onkabetse. Introduce yourself, friend. Who are you?
Oh, well, hello, everyone. I am Onkabetse Rethabile Masobe. And I think the best way to honestly describe myself after much reflection and reading through my journal is a generational solutionist. I needed a very subtle.
So dramatic.
No, it makes complete sense. With everything I do, I've realized I always try to find solutions.
Yes.
To problems, and I always do it from the gaze of my generation.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's the point of view I have, and my experience is my strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then I'm also a travel enthusiast.
Okay.
A lover of life.
An
athlete.
Hello.
Actually, what do you need? I can probably do it. I'm joking. I'm just someone who likes taking up all life's challenges and just seeing the most, being the most, and just being light in and through all.
Definitely. So, let's talk about your book.
Oh, you want to talk about daddy issues?
The daddy gang.
Daddy
the
issues.
Daddy gang. Guys.
Hish, oh, baba.
Give my hand. Okay. Daddy issues. What is it about?
Okay, so daddy issues walk.
Besides from its self-explanatory title.
Yeah. But we need to start there. So don't worry, it's also very quick in introduction. So it walks through the lives of 9 unrelated young women from South Africa.
Yes.
And it walks through their lives and their interactions and relationships with their fathers or lack thereof. And how that is just a catalyst of a host of problems as to how they interact with the rest of society. Definitely. But if we're being honest, it also happened to then filter into the whole family dynamic.
Yes.
Because the dads are the branch. Oopsie. And then everyone else, the dads are the trunk and everyone else are the branches.
Yes,
and you can't speak about one part of the tree without looking at the whole tree.
Yeah. Because
at the end of the day, it all came together to form you. To create this. How you see life, how you interact, what triggers you. And what motivates you.
Okay, speaking about that. Okay, now that we know that they are the crux of the foundation, right? And with me being on this journey of healing and all of that, how does it impact us as a people or as a person if that foundation has cracks in it?
I think we can go to the actual definition. I like using the metaphor of a building. Before you can build something, you build its foundation.
Yeah.
And it's important to build a foundation that can carry what you're trying to build.
Yeah.
And what usually happens, and I suppose with humans, there is a foundation that's built, which isn't adequately equipped for what's about to be built over it. And you can still do the building above a foundation that's not equipped for it. But then at some point, it catches up with you.
Yes.
And then you start seeing cracks in the wall, and then you start seeing holes in the ground.
Definitely.
And then you realize, Gucci, wait a minute, something is off.
What I thought was stable is not stable.
Right.
Because one thing I have learned with therapy, because friend, I have been in the therapy game for a while now.
My pains.
You understand? And with therapy, you have to face yourself and quote unquote demons, if I can call them that.
Yep.
And we're not saying our dads are demons.
We're just saying
there is a disconnect.
Yes.
A huge disconnect, right? And for example, with my journey of healing, I had to deal with a lot. Besides the face, obviously, I had to deal now with the inside so that the inside can reflect the outside. You understand? This conversation just irritates me. But yeah, I had to deal with what I thought was stable, but clearly had a lot of cracks. And it clearly influences how we deal with relationships, whether it's dating, whether it's friendship, relationship,
With its work.
whether it's work, yes. Whether we like to believe it or not, we do have daddy issues. And the conversation here is not how big or small, but there is daddy issues, and it impacts on who we are, what we are, and how we present ourselves out there. So with that being said, what was your purpose in writing this book? When you said, okay, today I'm going to start this journey, what were your hopes in writing this book?
Well, my hopes were for it to never be beyond me after I was done, because I was like, whoa, the whole of society just got called out. I don't want to answer to that.
Yes.
But before getting there, I
Because
saw...
it's not only girls that have daddy issues, it's even guys.
Literally.
And it's not a race.
It's not a
a
race
color
thing. It's
or
not a
anything.
gender thing. It's a
everyone.
human thing, because at the end of the day, it comes down to relationships.
Yes.
How we see them, how we define them, how they've influenced us.
Yes,
How
definitely.
how they've also influenced how we make decisions. But I suppose when I started it, because I was like, yay, let's do a research project. No, because that was the only, like God knows how to get you to do something.
Girl.
As much as the instruction was very specific when I woke up and it was like,
Yes.
write a book on daddy issues. And I was like, I don't have a writing history. What am I going to write about? And then I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not going to speak about the book, but the topic, like, I'm captured.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I mean, I could write my own story, but it's not yet time, because I feel like that we can say that for memoir.
Yeah.
But then if I write my story and just one story, it's going to be like, oh, another person with daddy issues.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's get a group.
it's-
Let's throw them in. I'm like, let's make a research.
But you see, friend, another thing as well is we say another person, but
Exactly.
there's no change, because we all go through the same story.
Like, oh, just another one with daddy issues.
You understand? The same story, even years later, because I'm sure there was a generation before us that still had the same.
No, genuinely, and I've seen it in the reception of the book, because so at the end of the day, I ended up just like making it a research project, and I was like, let me speak to a few people and like throw in a bunch of stories,
Yeah.
because maybe that way I'll find what the crux of this issue is, because it's too common for my liking.
Yes, and
Like,
you may
we laugh
identify
about
with
it.
the entire book or certain stories of
Yeah,
certain individuals.
we joke about it, but I'm like, it's serious, because in all our jokes and laughter, there's pain.
Yes,
and it hurts,
pain is
but we
something
don't know
I
what
can
to do
identify
about
with.
it.
Pain, Bell's palsy pain, daddy pain, the loss of a person. We all can identify with pain, regardless of what it is. So, you did this book because
Because I thought I could solve daddy issues.
clearly we can't.
And then at the end, my findings were inconclusive, because I was like, it's actually very complex.
Yes,
It
is. It's
differs.
not black or white.
It's not black or white, and it's also very different as to how you embody it,
Yeah.
and also what caused it and the journey there, because all our lives and our stories are different as much as there are similarities.
Yes.
And like I said, at the end of the day, it came down to just relationships and defining family.
Definitely,
And
because
defining love and defining presence and defining healing and apologies and expectations.
yes, friend, yes, because also whether you were raised by your uncle, your grandfather, your brother at child-hated households, it still plays a role in how you are shaped in this world. Because I, for one, my relationships, oh my God. Child. I mean, oh God, my relationships. How are my relationships, friend? My relationships are my relationships.
I guess it also differs with where
Relationships
you
are different,
are.
yes.
Because
My
I'm also like,
relationships are different.
right?
But also having to deal with this part of my this phase in my life now, and having to deal with love, friends, family. It's different, man. Like, I'm a whole different human being now. I'm healed, you understand? And not healed physically, but also emotionally. And me saying I'm healed, I'm not It's not cut, paste, and dry that, hey, I'm healed, kifodile. Hi. No, it's an everyday process. But also realizing that the one person that I wanted in my life, because where he's concerned, our relationship is on and off, obviously. But through my healing journey, God damn it, that man was there. That I will not take away from him. Shame, no. He was there through and through. And still today, currently, even when, because also trauma makes us push people away. And that's another thing. That you feel guilty of. Okay, no, here's my father wanting to be there when I need him without me I didn't even ask him. I didn't even say, Dad, I need you on this journey. But he showed up. And in that book, there are stories of where when you need him the most, he doesn't show up. So what advice do you have for young, or not even just a person, because it's not only us young people, it's even with our parents, that they didn't have their own fathers there. So what is the advice that you can give to people or a person that is listening or watching right now, how to deal with the cracks of the foundation where the daddy is concerned?
Oh, there's so much, but like none at all at the same time.
Yes.
Because I'm like, everyone's story is different.
Definitely.
But I think it all comes down to...
And what worked for you may not necessarily work for the next person.
Exactly.
But they can take away what works for them and what doesn't.
But I think where it starts, and also this is me just being an optimist and hoping... I'm just an optimist. So my first answer from a point of optimism is, what if the other party, what if your father isn't aware of how you're experiencing him? Did you ever actually sit down and say, I don't appreciate 1, 2, 3, 4? But also
Friend,
with doing that,
how do you tell a grown man, without sounding disrespectful, that I do not appreciate what you're doing?
it comes down to your tone and
Because
the delivery.
we all know the black community. But
at least try. Rather try and fail. And also try, and also the direction of, I'm speaking to you because I want us to heal this. I'm speaking to you because I want this relationship with you, but I can't continue the way it's existing.
Okay.
I'm speaking to you because I don't want us to be estranged and like detached as time goes on.
Yes.
Because I'm just gonna say I can't live like this and just step away, and then it's odd now when you're not invited to weddings and now there's all these jabs out of nowhere.
You know?
Yeah. So like, give the person the benefit of the doubt to explain themselves.
Okay.
And even to tell you their perspective of things and why they do certain things. Step 1 is try understand, because you can't guarantee an apology.
Yeah.
And even if the apology never comes, at least try get them to allow you to understand why they went a certain way, did certain things. Even if it's still very problematic when you listen to it today and you're like, really now?
But still,
really?
guy. I mean,
yeah.
you know? Because there's men out there that tell you, I couldn't show up because...
You
understand? Being in a mali.
Right, I was working hard and I had
all
to
these
spend.
things. And I think a lot of them don't understand that we don't want your money, guy.
Yeah, I think come to them as a human before your father.
Yeah.
Because when you come to them as a human and try to understand they're human, you start to like understand certain levels of their parenting and how they showed up or didn't as a father.
Because also they're regurgitating what they know.
Exactly. And I think also the conversation, if it gets there and if it doesn't, there's an email, there's the post, there's letters, there's WhatsApp.
There's everything.
Make a plan. But also, like, when you do communicate, make sure you're communicating for you and for you to pour out.
Yes.
And not because you expect a certain response, an apology or kumbaya, and you just hug and love each other. Do it for you. Because I think you need to get to a point in life where you feel pain because you need to let it go and not because you expect a certain reaction.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
attention.
Yes, and that can also do a lot in your healing,
Yeah,
because
it's
we don't realize the resentment and anger we hold within us for not having that one person that you so wanted in your life and they are not there.
right. And I think you also like, because I've been reflecting a lot. Okay, fine, I'm always reflecting. But I was also just
You've
thinking
become-
about,
in the group you've become our mini therapist.
I
Everything we're like,
am. Let's think about it this way. Did you
Oops.
think?
because I remember I had certain issues with a particular human being. And
I'm like, wait, hold up. I hear you, but
you understand? And she was like, friend, think of it this way. And I was like, I mean, of course, the one human being that wrote daddy issues is going to be our therapist, even in love, guys. And she's like, friend, don't ask it like this. Ask it like that. Because when I am a very passive aggressive human being. And that stems also from, we don't realize when they hurt us, because in that hurt, you obviously now, because he's not there to fend for you or protect you. Now you have to do that yourself. You have to be your own dad, your own man, and that can also be unhealthy.
right. And I love how you even just touched on that, because like I was at a primary school and I happened to like have a conversation with like grade 4s and 7s also came up at some point. And like it was the grade 7s were like to me, so what happens when someone has daddy issues? How does that like, manifest?
But the fact that you're in grade 7 and you realize that you have daddy issues.
I know, and the
says
scary
a
part
lot.
was they read
Because
it.
friend, honey, you look grade 7. Firstly, I was dealing with my friends, and I wasn't Kia at the time. I was Bobo,
Okay.
right? So everyone was like, "Why is your grandfather or your uncle always here? Where's your dad?" At some point, they thought my uncle was my dad, and I was like, "No, guys, that is not
No,
my dad."
and the crazy thing is, it's literally in school. Like I
know,
thought,
but
like
some
it started at the
Ajwang,
beginning.
You always
the
have
beginning,
to explain that. No, Kayla, this is not my dad. This is my uncle. Then where is your dad, girl?
and I think like one of the stories
And it's
beautifully
like,
touched on it when she said, "I didn't see an issue with how my life was until I was put in a certain space, and I
Yes.
was told what this person's role is supposed to be."
Yes.
So you learn the role from like a young age, but then the other party, your father, doesn't seem to understand the role he's supposed to play. So now there's like a disconnect. And you're like,
huge
that's
one.
not what the script says, father.
A huge one, because your life is perfect. Your family fills in that gap, that void. You don't even know that there's a gap or a void growing up as a child.
Because it's all you know.
You understand?
And it makes sense to you.
You understand? And your grandfather and everyone is showing up for you until kids at school, when there's Father's Day, bake a cookie or bake a cake with daddy.
Right? I love
tea
you,
with
Dad.
daddy. Like,
thank you for always being there, Dad.
and can we speak about how those cards always go to Umkhulu or Malume or Uputi or whoever it is, and never to the one person that it's meant for? Because also, it was my friends in primary that were like, "Bobo, where's your dad?" That's when it hit me.
But don't you think it's
Guy is not
beautiful? There was
there.
always someone else to give the card to. Well, but not for everyone, which was my concern when I
Yeah.
started writing.
Because I was about to say
Because I was like, why is there such a shortage of father figures?
now, I had no shortage, but
Lucky
I wanted
you.
that one. I didn't want.
But imagine
everyone
if you
here.
don't have that one and you have no one there.
Yes, that is also like, yeah, you being not appreciating. You understand? But also,
It's how you felt.
yeah, it's how I felt. So I can't.
You
But
can't
also,
feel bad about
yeah.
feeling bad about something.
But also telling him, "Hore, can you please come in the next Father's Day? Because my friends are constantly asking me, why are you not there?" And also, it's the trauma of having to always explain, "Hore, this is not my dad. This is my uncle. This is..."
And also
My
nagging
grandfather
someone to
is-
show up. You're like, can you please show up for me? I think that was
Friend.
like a hard thing when I like read the book, because when I was writing it, I just, because they're all based on a true story, I basically just immersed myself into the person's eyes, since it was
Yes.
like a full blown open conversation, and I'm an empath, so I could remove myself and just be that character. But then when I was reading it as a reader, I started picking up, why is it the kids begging their fathers for a relationship?
You understand?
It really hurt when I realized that. I'm like, it's
Because think
and it
about
happens
it.
to this day, even in people in their mid-20s. Like, you're still
Because think
begging
about it,
for a
we-
relationship.
Yes, and also we don't realize the red flags, because also in the relationship, when you can see that you're not supposed to be with someone, you rise, you beg.
It's gonna be
a
okay.
guy.
They're
You
gonna
understand?
come
And you see
around.
things. You want to see things that are not there. You don't want to believe. There's no lifeline. It's flatlining. There's nothing left. You try and you try and you try and you're like, I've tried.
But then it's hard, because then there's all these motivational quotes
I've
like, you know, don't give up, because, you know, maybe just before you give up,
You see, and
it's gonna. So now it's like that dilemma on, am I giving up and quitting too soon?
And it feels
Or
like,
am
am I a failure for even giving up on him? Does it mean I can morati? Because in our community, it's like you facing your back to him. You literally giving him the middle finger. Okay, because you're not showing up the way I need you and want you to. If you. And
But then how do you say
it's
that
easy
without
for
being
us to walk away
upset?
from a man, from a guy that you like, that you have a crush on, or that you're dating, but it's not easy for us to walk away from the one person that distorted the foundation to begin with, the one that is making you have that I don't give a fuck attitude, the one that forced you to be strong and to show up for yourself when you needed him to be there. Now, with the grade sevens, when they said, how do I know that I have daddy issues?
And we
or how
weren't
do
even
I
talking
deal
about the
with
book.
daddy
They
issues?
just saw the book and
You
then they read the
understand?
back. And you know what, like, was so
But
sad,
the fact
because
that they could identify with that.
with just reading the back, because they haven't read the book, and then
And that's another different
and you know what was the
generation
most
to us,
triggering them,
friend.
because I always
When
pay
is it
attention
enough?
to which like quote most like the different generations and perspectives are like. "Oh." But then with the grade sevens, that they were literally so captured by, am I that easy to leave behind?
Do you understand?
And I was like, actually, in your youth, that's what it feels like.
hello. And then,
But then when you go older, it gets to the one when she's like, of course you need to
and
like.
then the guys we dating are the ones that need to fix, because then you become this raging, angry.
Do you think
needy,
they fix it,
clingy-
or they marry your father so you don't see a problem with them?
No, but
And also,
friend-
I don't date, so I wouldn't know. I'm just asking.
Okay, here we go. Again. I can't. Like, okay.
Aisha Bang Funi.
No, friend. Not that have a phony.
No, but I hear you.
They don't funa you, but no. Let me. Woo! I'm sorry. No. I'm not saying they don't funa you. Oh my god. This is horrible. They do funa you. It's just that you are picky with your guy, which we all should. But when friends, it's like, which is what I'm talking about. Ya gore, guy wasn't there. The foundation is not stable. So you are very picky in which we all should, in who we
But
want
you
in
know
our
what the
circle.
beauty
But
is? I actually have a good
we-
relationship with my dad, surprising, because everyone's like, why did you write this book? But it was always like shaky. But then it was good. You know when things are good but shaky, it's kind of hard, because then
Yeah.
you feel like, am I being ungrateful because I'm seeing an issue I'm scared is going to go to a certain point that I can't handle?
Yes.
But I mean, I even hold my dad to high expectations.
Which
I
is what
hold
I'm
myself
saying.
to high. It's just who I am. Like even today, my dad knows, like, you better come correct, so don't come at all.
Don't
father.
come at all.
Don't come at all.
But that is what I'm saying. I get it. The guys that we end up dating, it's like, you better come correct or don't come at all. Like, you better know what it is, because I'm not going to chase after you. But funny, we are willing to chase after our fathers when we know that they are hurting us. It's that what's the word? It's that feeling that we are chasing after. And I feel like we make the universe or the world pay for one human beings' mistake. And that is what I'm saying with you, that because you don't, I don't want to say you don't know that side, you punishing yourself for you're not allowing yourself to love, even when there is people in front of you and they're like, hi Onks.
Oh no, trust me, there's no people in front of me. No, genuinely, but there's really no one in front of me.
There is, but you don't want to see them. You don't want to acknowledge
no, I think
there is.
No.
And because of that relationship with Ubaba.
But it's good. Because I think also, with time, like maybe before us,
yes,
they were more like, hang on, big as hell, don't give up. But I feel like with each generation, people have stopped ngangering someone. But now I think we went like from the extreme of, hold on, big as hell, like you can't give up, to, oh, hell no, I deserve better. No, but even with family members, like how often do you see a quote where people are like, cut that family member just because they're blood, it doesn't matter. That's why I'm like, I don't think because we're more concerned with big as
toxicity as well makes us be like, no.
So you think we've become the problem?
Yeah.
The problem has become the solution. Be like, fine, I'll marry you then.
You understand? But also, I wish our fathers could just be more attentive to that. It's not materialistic. Love isn't material. Love isn't material things. Love is your time, quality time, your time. You being there for us, showing up regardless of whatever circumstances you are going through, and however you look like.
I don't know. I do agree with that, but I've kind of been like looking at things with a lot more grace in terms of like every aspect of my life. You know, grace towards myself and how I saw things and experienced things, but also grace towards other people and life itself.
Yeah.
And so when I was 21, I fell out with like a lot of friends. And when I was younger, I was like, how did I attract like all these people who were good people, but they weren't good for me?
Yes.
But now, like this past week, I sat and like, thought about that. And I was like, actually, what happened was I changed. The nature that attracted those people was unlearned over time with certain experience and like, interactions with other humans. So it was great when we were all like low effort humans and very detached. We mirrored each other. It was lovely. It was vibes. Wow. But then I got to a point where
effort.
I mean, also I was in like university far from home. Everyone was probably far from home.
Yeah.
And now like your friends have to become your family or you're alone. And as a result, there were also like a lot of suicides. And when I paid attention, a lot of them, like, I don't know the behind the story issues of their families and upbringing, but then if you looked around, they also had like really terrible friends.
Yeah.
Because like, be selfish. That was like the motto of that era.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't a good nature.
Yeah.
So then I was like, we need more present, intentional, loving, and caring humans. We need more light.
Yeah.
So when I had that thought, I didn't realize I was undoing my ice princess nature. And as my nature was changing, what I resonated with changed.
Yes.
Meaning now what was a beautiful mirror and it was vibes and friendships now became a disconnect.
Yes.
So I'm using this analogy as like, and even back then I was like, I thought they were the problem, but no, I'm the one who changed. So I was probably the problem, but no one was the problem because we were just growing. But now with fathers, I'm coming to...
Yes, because I was about to say...
No, so I'm coming to fathers, they have a certain nature they haven't unlearned.
Okay.
And that nature we currently sitting on is one we don't resonate with and why there's a disconnect. Because I mean, even
my face. Do you see my face?
Yeah, because I mean, even with my dad,
I'm just like,
the nature from like my youth has
telling
completely changed to the nature of right now. Because we sat and we had like a DMC, and I was
I also had that.
Yeah, and then he got me. But it doesn't always happen. Like, I know I was lucky and privileged that I had he got me. And I also am like literally his mirror, like in terms of personality. Definitely, so he kind of like, I mean, it was a bit like it was an ouch. And I mean, he was the first to read the book and he features in it. So it was kind of like,
oh my God, this girl?
And I had to tell him like it was important for me to speak about it the way I saw it. And it's also important that we're actually in a good place to show there is hope and there is light. But you need the father to want to also come to the party because I can't carry this alone.
Okay.
I know I was lucky, but
And I'm
that
not
can
rolling my
exist for
eyes
someone
at-
else. That can also exist for someone else. And like I said, I had the conversation like, I don't appreciate this. And he came to the party. But even when I had that, I don't appreciate this, it was more like...
Yes, because I was about to ask, how was the response? Like body language, response? How did he take that? How were the emotions? Did he not try to blame?
no.
Did he not try to blame mama? Your mother is the reason.
well,
Because
he
a
was
lot of them
quite
can say,
mature
it's your
about
mom's family, it's your mom, it's because of your mom.
Yeah, no, most of
and
them
unresolved
definitely do
feelings
that.
that were between them.
No, at first he thought I was unfathering him.
Yes.
And he was like, well, I wish you a good life. And I was like, homie, calm down. Calm
See,
down.
no, but for me, that is if he was able to walk away the first time,
No, but like lucky we were speaking.
he
so
was
I could...
he was willing to be walking away again. Why is what
For
I
me, it
don't
wouldn't
understand.
necessarily be again, but...
Okay,
yeah.
but still, friend, why did he already in his mind think, okay, Onkabetse wanlatla?
Because
You
I
see,
was
that's what I'm
triggering.
saying.
No,
Kid,
but
with
now...
our fathers, we can't even have that conversation
We
because
can't.
already you weren't even finished with that conversation. You didn't even start the conversation, and he was already making you feel bad.
Oh no, I was done.
Or even.
I was done, and that was his initial response because you did like just speak about how the things about life I won't get, and like life had a certain way, and he thought he showed up for me the way I
He
needed,
understood.
but
Yeah.
it turns out it wasn't what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
But then I guess also you experience things how you feel, not necessarily how it's being presented, which is
Yeah.
why you can't control someone's perception and like reaction to things you say.
Yeah.
And I also acknowledge that I have an older sister, like I literally met this year.
Whoa.
And I mean, I've always known she
Insane.
existed. I've always known she
Yeah,
existed.
but you never-
It wasn't a hidden child. But I know that relationship was cut when she was young, and the fact that like I met her like so old, so
Yeah.
he hasn't been in her life for all these years. So I think
you
me
and her?
yes, both
Oh
of us.
my
That's why I didn't
God.
meet her until recently. So I think I could
Mudima
also
Khoto.
understand for him it was like I'm losing another daughter.
Oh yes.
That's why I was like, whoa.
But friend, you would think that from your experience, he would do better.
No, but for him, that was better from where he started with the one before me. Like I'm saying, there's always that one child who's light, and I suppose I was that child.
Okay.
But you see, so I also understood him in terms of parenting and not necessarily as a human.
You see, that's why I'm saying you're the nicer human being. You're the nicer daughter. I'm not.
But also,
That
he
accepting
had a
out.
lot of redeeming qualities, which is what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I was like, dog, I know you love me. You tell me all the
Of
time.
course, they love all of us. It's not that they hate us.
That's true. They don't. You see, that's the thing. It's just they don't know how to love you the way you need to be loved. And the older you get, the harder it is to unlearn certain things.
Yeah.
And that's where the disconnect also comes in.
And that
with
our
also
fathers-
and also
our
with their
dad's
upbringing
generations-
trauma themselves, with their own
Yes.
daddy issues, their own family issues, their relational and relationship issues. It's humans. You can't help them entirely.
Of course,
You can't force
'cause you
them to
need
heal,
them.
but you can try show up for them in a way that isn't to your detriment.
Yeah.
If there's that,
And
like,
they can
if there's
also-
that, there's not always that
Yes,
option,
there
but
isn't.
if there's that,
But also, that will also help in them wanting to show up in a way that you need them to.
yeah, and also you need to be able to communicate how you need them to show up because you can't expect someone to show you something you're
No,
not sure
let's say
of.
you're not a good communicator. How? Then your actions.
Exactly. Then
Yeah.
your actions. Maybe you won't get. Maybe you'll tell your dad you never showed up for me. No. You'll list all the issues,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe they won't sit down and say I'm sorry. But what if they start
'Cause
calling
that
you
is a
and
very high
checking if you're
probability.
fine?
Yeah. Okay.
What if they sit down and you'll be like, or what if you actually now reflect on your life when you're not angry? Actually, have you ever sat down and be like, how has this person showed up for me even if it was once?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I mean, I realized my dad would always, like, check on how school's going because we were, like, the academic duo.
Yeah.
He would ask me, what are you doing with your future? I know, like, when I was having a terrible time in uni. And I called him. I was like, Dad, please fly me home. I'm so sad here. I don't have good friends. And he was like, do you want to come home or should I book you a holiday?
I mean, hello.
Because I know my mom is going to pray for me and say, the Lord is your strength. You've got this. Just keep pushing. You're almost done. It's your last exams.
Yes.
So do you see? So I think
So you see, our mothers,
also
our mothers not that they were strict because they wanted to, because they needed to be.
They needed to, but even like, I mean, like me just reflecting on like my relationship with my dad in terms of what did we bond on? Like, when did I feel like he showed up for me? I also started picking up like
academics.
a trend.
School.
It was more things when it came to logic, the logics of life. Like, what am I going to study? Why should I study this? I mean, I wanted to take visual arts as a grade 10 subject. And my dad was like, well, what are you going to do with drawing? And I was like, I don't have to do anything with drawing. I just need a fun subject. But do you see how like we've always been the type to like debate?
Yes.
But I think it's hard to see the good and like, the love that's experienced. And I suppose for me, that was experienced when growing up because it was the core fundamental things when I was like, you're not showing up for me there. So it was easy for me to like, be blinded from where he was.
Yeah.
And also he wasn't at home.
Yeah.
So also like when you show up in features, it doesn't help your case.
Yes.
But only now when I'm old and healing, I'm like, he actually wasn't that bad. I mean, I still understand why I felt the way I felt. Okay. And to this day, those things still aren't okay.
And why did you feel the way you felt?
It was, you showed up for me, you needed when you were growing up, but that's not what I needed.
Okay. And did you tell him what it is that you need?
Yes.
Now, not then, what you need now from him.
Yeah, and the best part is what I need now is what our relationship's always been. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Okay.
Let's unpack it and like, what do you think would be a good like career venture?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think would be sustainable? Can I catapult from there and like pivot to that?
Yeah. Okay.
So do you see?
So the book essentially brought you guys together.
No, I told you we were good when I started writing the book.
But I'm saying,
did it
make you guys' relationship stronger?
No, because...
But he didn't see it as you bashing him, right?
No, he didn't, and he couldn't. I mean, even if he did. I think what was beautiful was it's important for you to write things the way you experience them because I can't take that away from you. And he's like, as much as I don't agree with everything you said, and I was like, well, it's not your perspective, so you don't have to. So we did also have that little bit of a clash. But that was also like our egos. I think it was more of like an ego clash. But then I was like, but Dad, at the end of the day, we're fine. But it wasn't always this great. And if I could be a vessel of people either like, having better relationships with their dads by starting with like the inherent things that weren't okay in ours, or at least just starting a conversation towards their healing because like people go through the most because of the roles fathers play in our lives or the roles they don't play.
It's a lot. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was...
It's crazy. A grade 7.
Triggered by, am I that easy to leave behind?
You understand?
And even like a lot of the characters today, because this was written like, 5 years ago. The relationships didn't improve.
At all. But
zero. They did improve.
Of course.
They felt better. They got better. Because I think pouring out, because like my favorite thing, like when I sign a book, and it was like from some quote I saw, and it was this long quote.
Guys, did you hear that? When I sign a book, levels.
It says,
levels.
It says, I hope you learn to pour out because you deserve to feel lighter.
Oh.
And the reason is to feel lighter is because you need to live with you and move with you and exist with you.
Yes.
And not pour out because you need an apology and people need to act right. You can't control what people are going to do. You can't force an apology and rather not have an apology than someone half-hearts an apology. Yes. So pour out for you. Pour out because you want to feel good emotions, but there's no space for them.
Yes.
Pour out because you want to see what existing, like, in your core away from the traumas and anger and pain and resentment. Pour out because you want to start making decisions from a place of comfort and light and openness and not, I need to achieve this because melanin lie.
You understand? So in my therapy session, when I said trauma makes you push people away, I have started letting go, which is what you're touching on now. I have started letting go in what I know, what I thought I was, or who I thought I was, and being open to openness, newness, abundance, and healing.
And it's like
because healing is a continuous journey, and
it's forever.
It's
and like what's the crazy part about also like when you're pouring out and you're creating space is you actually need to make a room for people to show up for you.
Yes.
Because I was quite like, a closed off baby.
Yes.
And I suppose that's where it stemmed from, my relationship with my dad, when I was like, I'm going to be hyper independent.
Yes.
I got my own. I don't need anyone.
Yes.
So you see, everyone's like, thinks you're going to throw yourself at boys. No,
also,
you could be hyper independent. I can be the most successful person.
You and I are the same in that, because in my journey, I shut everyone out.
You keep it here.
I was like, hey,
You can be problematic and I won't be hurt because you weren't that close anyway.
You understand? Yes. And now it's made me realize,
it's not a good way to live. It's not
good.
a realistic way to live. You need
You
people.
And who you surround yourself with has a lot to do with the person that you become and what you pour into your cup. Because I was feeling bad at the time of my healing. I was feeling bad that I couldn't show up for my friends the way they know me how to show up, because I needed that for myself.
You did.
And I needed that energy for myself, because, friend, our energy is electrifying. 1. 2, how do I show up and be when I'm not even you understand? So what I'm basically saying is, God, Jesus.
Nah.
What I'm basically I'm trying to make it a light moment. So what I'm basically saying is, you need to show up for yourself before you expect the next person to show up for you. And that being your father or whoever, right? And
can I just butt in there quickly?
Okay.
But you also, even if you're in a terrible space, you need to create the space for people to be there for you. And there for you is, you might know what you need at that point in time, but you do need someone just present. Because I know when my friend was in the darkest time in her life, I didn't even realize how dark it was until we were retrospecting and she told me everything.
Yeah.
You see, the fact that I didn't even know what she was going through, but I was always I'm here for you. And then she was and then she was I'm in the darkness. And I was like, girl, I'm not going to help you get out of the dark. It's your life, but can I keep you company?
Yes, because that's what you've been doing with
literally,
me on my
I'm
journey.
I just want to keep you company. And also, you don't have to tell me anything, but tell me something so I can help, because maybe you won't be able to hear God, but God can use me to speak to you, because I'm more tangible than He is.
Preach, friend.
No, literally, because I'm also, I need also, if you're falling or you go into a pit, I need to know how you got there so I can help you out. But if you keep me far, I can't help you because I don't know how you got there, what triggered you there, because you didn't let me in.
Girl.
And the thing is, I can't force you there, but I would appreciate it. Yes. And this is also me extending to you. I do have the capacity for such, as much as I don't know what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm asking for. But I think we all need that person.
Guys, do you see now why I say she's our therapist in the group? Can you give wisdom?
I always say
wisdom.
And my favorite thing I say in a birthday message, and I'll tell people,
you attract the energy that you are. There was no way I could be this, and she is not that. Do you understand? Do you get this vibe right now?
So do you see, healing is lonely, but it doesn't have to be. There's certain parts you have to walk alone, and there's certain parts no one else is going to understand, even if they are there. But you know how we always say there's light at the end of the tunnel?
But
thing is, there's lights where you are. But thing is, there's lights where you are. But thing is, there's lights where you are if you want to see them.
Yes. Because
in the
phase that I'm in right now is the light, guys. You weren't gonna get none of this if it was 6 months ago, 8 months ago. Basically last year. Last year was the pits. Last year was my worst year of my life, besides 2012. Oh, this flu.
It's sounding a little salty.
It was, oh my God, it was, guys, it was horrible. And now, with her being in my life, right, it's been fun, it's been emotional, it's been up and down, but mostly up, ne?
It has.
Yeah, it's been mostly up than down.
I've been like your uncomfortable mirror.
Girl, because she's like, Kia, look at yourself.
Are you sure? Is this your final answer?
Do you understand? Is this what you want out there? is that what you're putting out there?
I always say it's habit forming phase. It's habit forming phase.
Yes.
So you better be happy with the habits you're forming.
Also, you know how to deal with this because your cousin had it. He had or she had Bell's palsy. So it was easy for you to show up.
The thing is, with that cousin, we like, distant. She didn't really need me. Well, not that she didn't really need me. Like, we're cousins, we're boys, but we don't have that relationship. So, I mean, I only found out when I went to go visit.
Yeah.
It's not like she texted and was like... Yeah, and that's what I learned about it, and I was like, what? And she's like a troll, so she was just laughing through the whole thing.
I was ultra sensitive.
And then she like drink water, and I'm like, we don't know how to show up for you now. So I guess she's also someone like, people deal with things differently. She dealt with hers through humor. And I guess also with the humor, she was learning and like, with teach.
Wait, friend, Onkabetse, man. Okay. Before we go left.
We're on a lunch date.
Please tell me about the grade 7. We didn't wrap the story.
Oh, so they were like, oh my gosh, this sounds like something I need to read. Because one was even like, friend, look at this, read. And then the other one also looked at it and was like, am I that easy to leave behind? Yeah. And then I was just like, there actually is a journey of how we like deal with these certain things in our lives. Because I think if 13-year-old me read this, she would probably relate. Actually, she might probably actually relate to that everything. One. But then when 21-year-old me would probably read this, she'd probably be like, he never asked how I'm doing apart from school. I guess it's important to keep track of how the investment is doing close to maturity. Ish. And then maybe 18-year-old you might look at it and be like, that was the moment she realized that her dad was presently absent. Because at that point, you're kind of like, wait a minute, this is what's happening.
And then 28?
Is this if I was still hurt, or is this me being fine?
Anything.
Is this real me, or if I'd be like theoretical me if she was still fighting through daddy issues?
Anything. And not only female, male as well.
I think me now would probably resonate with he thought he was doing enough, although it wasn't.
Yeah.
But the beauty about life is you can't change the past, but you can take what's happening today and do better.
Yes. I mean, hello. That is why she is called Onkabetse. Understand?
Right? I think me now has like so much grace. And I think, you know how we always say, you project how you feel about yourself and others. I think I've just learned to show myself so much grace.
Yes.
I mean, I took a pause on my career that was doing really well because I was like, wait, there's certain parts I've left out. I was like, there's certain parts of myself that are left out with how I'm navigating life right now. Let me just pause and just relearn me as who I am right now and the whole experience coming now.
Yes.
Before going back. So if I can show myself that grace, not be hard on myself in this journey of confusion and uncertainty and feeling like and nothingness,
a long as call with that.
I can have grace with the next person because I don't know what they're going through. And I think also grace is I'm coming at you to understand you as a human and not what I can benefit from you or how I relate to you or what, like, it's just, I'm just coming to you for you. And I want to understand you for you. And I think that's grace.
So with that being said, we must understand our fathers for who they are, not for who we want them to be, not for who we
expect them to be,
or the idea of. We need to face what is in front of us and not try to improve it, but to understand it and see where we can meet.
Right? Because I always think like you need a bridge. Like try create that bridge. Don't burn all the wood before you even try create the bridge. And I'm not saying the bridge will form, but just react to the situations in a way of if you had to speak to 80-year-old you today.
Yes.
And you tell her what decision you made today and how it's probably going to lead to that point in time. Will you be proud of how you reacted today?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, make sure you react in a way that you'll be able to live with and live with no regrets. I'd rather have rejection than regrets.
Yeah, because it's easier.
Right? And even if it doesn't work out, at least you tried. Wouldn't you rather know, I tried to improve this relationship while I was working on myself and becoming who I believe I can be and should be, than just being like, you know what? I deserve
regret.
better, and I don't have time for you, and this is not what a father's supposed to be and do. So mark me absent, and I hope I find someone better than you.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the characters said, they say you marry someone like your father. I guess I'm not getting married.
Ooh.
So do you see? That's what I'm like.
Well, like marriage isn't attractive to us.
I guess that's a conversation for another day.
But it's not that it's not that our minds can't be changed. I'm speaking for myself. We don't know. With you, it's open for interpretation.
What marriage?
Yeah. For me, it's not a shut door, but it's not a door for now. Because I'm still healing. And I can't want to open that door yet until I deal with another one, with this one.
Thing is, I am open to it because I think I trust myself now, and the
you
decisions
see, with all the
made.
daddy issues, you're not saying because of him, I'm not deserving of love. Because of him, I'm not deserving of happiness. Because of him, I'm not deserving of what is rightfully mine. And that is beautiful. And but not everyone can get to that place that you're at and that you're in. So with that being said, what words of encouragement can you give people out there with dealing with healing and their daddy issues, the daddy gang, if I can call it that?
I guess I would say to daddy gang, it might get better. I hope it gets better.
Yes.
But even if it doesn't get better, I hope you choose to be better. For yourself.
Snaps.
And the rest of your life follows in peace.
Yes.
Yeah. I just always say project goodness and love and peace than anger and pain and
it's not attractive.
Don't get me wrong.
It's so draining. Guys, I'm speaking.
I sometimes regret how optimistic and kind I am, but I'd rather be hurt because I'm choosing goodness and choosing kindness than to mirror demons I wouldn't want to deal with.
Yeah, because
I say do unto others
I
as
am
you
an
want.
optimistic human being. Sagittarius people, we are very optimistic.
Not
Trust.
you throwing Sag gang into
I
it.
mean, hello. We are very optimistic human beings, but it took me a while to get where I am. And trust me, you don't want to be negative Nancy. You don't want to be angry and all the time, because it has an impact and an effect on who you are, how you face your day, your relationships. Guys, when I tell you that I had 0 relationships, like 0, besides family. And live family, it was selective. It was, you understand? And it wasn't healthy. And now I'm where I'm at, and everyone is in the mix. And it's beautiful.
Right, and I guess like my final remark linked to like what you're saying, you don't want to wonder what life would look like if you chose to look at it with light and from love.
Yes. So in a nutshell, what she is saying in all of that, in case you were confused, because my friend is very academic. She's here. Her language. And if you don't understand,
all I said was love and light.
No, for those that didn't understand it, that's why I am here for you. What she's basically saying is life is beautiful, and life doesn't have to be perfect for you to have a beautiful life or a perfect life. You make it what you want it to be, and the next person shouldn't determine how that experience is for yourself.
Period.
Thank you everyone for joining us. And where can they get your book?
Oh, you can get my book.
The book.
There we
itself.
go.
Here it is. Here it is. I love this cover.
I love
Guys,
that
the cover.
cover.
Itself
I love it. They say
says a
don't
lot.
judge a book by its cover. You can
Yes.
judge this one by its cover.
And guys, this book is good. This book is the one. And we're going international with it.
Yes, we are. I'm done running from purpose. I am
Yes.
done. The
Thank
fact that I'm
you.
here is me
Thank
no
you.
longer running from purpose.
You understand?
But you can get it at aminiafrica.com bookstore, or at the bookstore section.
Okay.
Or you can go to @daddyissuesza Instagram, and the store's link is in the bio.
Okay.
And you can get it on Amazon because we're international.
Hello, guys.
And guess what?
Okay,
A
what?
reflective journal is coming soon.
Yes, guys, that is something we're cooking.
And actually, by the time it's done, I think it might have landed by then. Oh, so can I just...
Yes.
Guess what? There's also a reflective journal.
Yes.
Because we all have different lives, we have different stories, but their characteristics, traits, and habits.
Yeah.
So you might not relate to a story, but you relate to a trait. So the reflective journal is you walking through your own journey,
Yes.
triggered by certain like topics in the book.
Yeah. And not even, it goes beyond daddy issues.
It's about sibling love.
It's
about
everything.
family. It's about how you make decisions on like, are you making it for yourself or because you're trying to impress a parent?
Yeah.
And I guess impressing a parent leads on to more than that.
Yeah, and we all know.
I think it's about life and,
and
becoming.
living life for you.
Right.
Doing things for yourself and being proud of the person that you are and where you've come and how far you've come.
And where you're going.
Yeah.
And it's okay to look back to the darkness of where you've come from because that was very important. Like I've even come to learn certain things had to happen the way they've happened, although it would have been nice if they didn't, because you later on needs that to like, to go through a certain season.
Yeah.
Clothes Off Me was important. She probably saved me from so much.
Yeah.
But me right now needs light and I like this one. I like this version. I've had a few versions and I'm like, God, I picked this one.
So this one is for you. This one. See it? It's for you guys. Get it. It's a lovely book. It's a beautiful book. She's a beautiful human being. Beautiful stories are in here. Some might make you cry if you can relate. Even if you can't relate, they'll make you cry.
Or they'll help you understand someone next to you.
Yeah. And understand yourself better. Thank you for joining us in today's episode. And we'll catch you on the flip side. And join us in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And we had fun.
We did.
It. And yes, guys, love and light, like Onkabetse said. See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Any day for you, friend.
I'll catch people in the streets.
In them streets, guys. Just be nice when you see her, please.
I promise I don't bite. Say hi. We'll probably go into like a DMC unplanned.
Yeah. She's not lying. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.